is like the craziest, biggest goal that you could accomplish this year? It doesn't have to be realistic. Like, just like if you were to dream super big, what would that be? And I was like, releasing an album.
Wow.
Yeah. And she was like, go do it.
That's good.
Right. That is a good friend.
That's how that happened?
Yeah. And so after she said go do it, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was just talking. You know when you're just talking?
Yeah.
Said I know you won't leave me lonely. Never, never. I said I know.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Hopeful Conversations. Glad you can tap in with us. As you can see, got a wonderful guest with us.
Hi, everyone.
This is Vinessa Burnett. We're going to take some time to get to know her. We're going to share, we're going to let her share her story. But we wanted to center this around the journey behind the music. And she's going to tell you all about it. And glad you can tap in with us. Let's get right into it. So what's going on, Vinessa?
What's going on? I'm so happy to be here.
I'm glad you can tap in with us. I know Vinessa. I met Vinessa through a good friend of mine. So we're actually acquaintances and friends outside of this. So it's kind of easy that we got this going on. Really make it really conversational. So how you been?
I've been good.
Yeah.
I've been good. Just living,
working,
traveling,
trying
to balance everything, but doing good.
Yeah. So of course we're gonna be talking about music. We're gonna be talking about, the journey behind the music. But tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, hi everyone. My name is Vinessa Burnett. I'm originally from South Florida, Miramar, Florida to be exact.
Oh yeah, we're both from Florida.
We're both from Florida. All the things in common.
Yeah.
So just outside of Miami is where I grew up, but I've been living in Dallas for 7 years. By day, I work in human resources as a training and development professional. And outside of that, my true passion is music. So I have been making music for a couple of years now and performing around the Dallas area. Excited to be here.
Listen, we are tapped in, and Vinessa knows I'm a musician. So hearing her,
a whole musician.
I am, and my background is music. Did I tell you that I did classical music?
Yeah, didn't you get like a scholarship to
I
sing
did.
opera or
I
something?
did.
Did you take it?
I didn't. It's a backstory to it, but really, I grew up singing in church, and it was just kind of forced, and that was just kind of like my talent, and it was a way for me to just like, I guess, use my creative ability as a kid. I was able to do stuff after school, go on trips, so I was just kind of using it to not have to be home all the time, because it was a strict house. So that's what kind of gave me, I couldn't play sports and stuff, so that gave me that out, like, I have rehearsals so I can fool around and dilly-dally after school and stuff like that. So I never really got serious, but what I did was play drums. Now I was really into that.
Yeah.
But obviously I couldn't play the band. I'm telling you, it was strict, so the reason why I couldn't play in the band is because the band played worldly music.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I just played drums. I only played gospel music. When I sing, we weren't singing any kind of like music that my dad thought was too secular, so we were able to participate. So that's how that happened.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I learned something new.
Yeah. So I never really, like, when I became an adult, I'm like, I'm about to live my life. So
I'm
music,
wild out.
right. So that's how that started. But let's talk about you.
Okay.
So how and when or what was this? I'll say, what was it that first sparked this love for music for you?
Oh man, music has been in my life for as long as I can remember. I grew up in a household where there was always music playing. My dad played music nonstop. Dallas is actually not
Yeah.
You can
Shout out to the OG.
My dad loves
Yeah,
music,
yeah.
and so
He's young in spirit too.
Oh yeah, he just turned 60, but you would never know. For his 60th, he actually threw like a day party, a gospel R&B day party. Yeah. So there was just always a variety of music playing in our household. And then really my grandpa, I have to shout him out, my late grandpa, Frank Glassford. Not only was he a pastor, a teacher, among many things, he was also a musician. He played all string instruments by ear. So piano, guitar, violin, like he could just figure it out and play it by ear. And as the pastor of his church, he would literally play the piano, sing and lead worship, and then get up and start preaching.
One man band.
And so just having that foundation, I think, really sealed a love of music within me. And then I want to say first grade is when I took my first like piano lessons. And it was interesting, right? Because I didn't really have much of a choice. I can't remember if I expressed an interest in piano or my parents were like, this is what you're going to do. But I took piano lessons off and on from 1st to 8th grade, and then guitar lessons came around like fifth grade or so. And I actually kind of grew sick of it, in part because I didn't really have a choice. My parents were like, whether you like this or not, you're going to keep going to piano lessons. And I think when you don't have a choice, it's hard to know, do I like this?
Yeah.
Or am I just good at this? And so I think in some ways the true love of playing an instrument started to die out a little bit. And then in high school, financial challenges happened within my family, so no more lessons. And I was like, finally, I'm free. I don't have to keep going to piano lessons.
I'm telling you, one thing about kids, we gonna celebrate hard times in a way that we should.
Great.
Go ahead.
I'm like, I don't have to do this anymore. And it was like a great year or two. And then I want to say maybe 10th or 11th grade, it became really cool at my high school to know how to play an instrument. Like I said, I grew up in South Florida, and so during lunchtime we had
so much talent.
So much talent. And we had a really nice patio with like an overhang, and kids would just perform during lunchtime on the guitar.
In high school?
In high school, yeah.
That's different. Wait, was it a school?
It was a regular public school, and I don't know if anybody watching knows Sabrina Claudio. She's a popular R&B singer, but she went to my high school, so she would actually perform on the guitar and sing. And I was like, wait a minute. I know how to play the guitar. I can do what they're doing. And so I started picking back up my guitar, picking up my piano, and I would make these little videos, post it on Facebook. And my mom is who really encouraged me. She's like, Vanessa, you should try singing and playing at the same time. And I was like, whoa, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I feel like I can barely sing. And yeah, from there, I think things just sort of took off. I'll pause in the story for right now.
So do you feel like it was in high school that you started taking it serious? Or you feel like that just kind of sparked the fire again? You're like, let me tap into this let me see if I can, let me get cool with this. This is kind of cool.
I think it sparked the fire again, but I would say it really wasn't until adulthood that I started taking it seriously. Back then it was just like, oh yeah, I do have this talent. This is fun.
Yeah. Because I think there's a difference between taking it serious. We're musicians. You have people who take it serious and people who are just gifted, right? And it's one thing to have a spark. You can have a spark like we were talking about the concert you went to. So you can go to the concert and be like, oh man, I need to get back into it. Or you can take it serious like you and drop an album. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to this. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to it. So you started taking it serious in adulthood, which I feel like kind of takes me to the next part of what I want to talk about. So you started taking it serious, but again, it's completely different to take music serious and to do an album.
Yeah.
How did you get to that point where you made the decision, I want to create an album?
Yeah, that is such a great question. Never in a million years did I expect to make an album. But all throughout my life, I've been writing songs, even without even realizing it. I've been, I guess, writing music my whole life. So I knew I had enough material to put together some sort of body of work. Never imagined actually releasing it. And May 2023, one of my friends, Elena, shout out to Elena if you're watching, she was visiting Dallas, and right before she flew back to Miami, she was like, Vinessa, what is the craziest, biggest goal that you could accomplish this year? It doesn't have to be realistic, just if you were to dream super big, what would that be? And I was like, releasing an album.
Wow.
Yeah. And she was like, go do it.
That's good.
Right. That is a good friend.
That's how that happened?
Yeah. And so after she said go do it, I was like, whoa. I was just talking. You know me, you're just talking.
Yeah.
So I was like, I thought about it, but not really. And then throughout that summer, my mental state was not in the best. I think I was just working a job that I did not like. It was stressing me out. And just things in my love life. I just was so depressed. And I was like, this feels like a great time to start working on an album, because I just need some sort of creative release. And I called one of my friends who has released an album before. I said, hey, I think I want to release an album. Like, I think I have to do this. What is my next step?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you got to create some demos. I said, okay. And so I went to the area where he practices, and we created some demos. And I was like, who should produce my album? He's like, I have a good producer. I'm like, okay, cool. Sends it over to his producer. We meet, and you know, the rest is history from there. But I definitely want to shout out my friend Elena for really challenging me to accomplish that goal.
Listen, Elena brought a powerful thing to life in you. I've been reading this book, and one of the questions I've been sitting with probably the past week, they asked in the book is like, what can you do that makes you feel alive? And when you were telling that, I'm like, man, Elena asked a question to you, and it brought something, it gave life to something inside of you. And that's so powerful. And now we got a whole album.
A whole album.
A whole album. I gotta keep saying, because it's still amazing, because it's like a story behind this, and that's why I wanted to talk about this. So you create demos. You know a guy who's created an album. He knows a producer. You're on this journey at this point. But you got here from a place of darkness, challenges, depression. What made this album coming out challenging for you? Because you have this creative flow, you're able to release some things, but like now, where does the challenge begin? Because you're already on the journey now.
Yeah, I think with music, my lyrics are very emotive, right? A lot of them come from a place just whatever I was going through at that time. And if you listen to the album Prime, there's a couple themes. It really chronicles the highs and lows of singleness, especially like an extended period of singleness, right? So there's those positive themes of learning how to love yourself, independence and freedom, and figuring out who you are. But then there's some of the, you know, more not as fun themes, like loneliness and heartbreak and longing. And so a lot of those songs were written with that in mind. And while recording the album, I basically had to relive what I was going through when I first wrote those songs. I would say a good chunk of the songs in Prime were written in 2021, but I started recording Prime in 2023. And so putting myself back into the state of mind that I was in when I first wrote those songs, it really was hard. Like, people always ask me, like, what was the hardest part about making the album? It wasn't driving to Fort Worth multiple times a week, getting in the studio and all the hours spent. You know, I would do that part all over again. It was really the emotional toll of like, wow, I was going through something when I wrote these lyrics, and now in order to channel this emotion into this song, I really have to tap back into that. And in a way, that was also healing for me to see how far I've come and realize that these are such normal human emotions. It was,
Man, I came to the album release, so but I
you had a first row seat.
Right. So, but I didn't know all of this. You know what I'm saying? I knew some things, but not this much. And as I'm listening to you, I'm really hearing like, this is how masterpieces are created from hard times. You're gonna get some good things out of good times. But I'm telling you, it's the lemon is worth the squeeze when we're going through some things. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at what you came up with. Look at what the seed Elena watered. You know, that was already in you. Yeah. And it's so powerful. And that's what's coming to my mind. And it's really bringing now I gotta go back. Listen to Pride. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go back and listen to the album, because now it's like it's gonna make even more sense to me. And I think that's cool. So, okay, you talk about these challenges. You talk about that. How it was healing for you. Now, speak to how has your music evolved since you've grown and healed emotionally and personally, because there's more music you've done since that first album.
Yeah, so I've written and released, I've written several songs, but I've released 2 songs since Prime. One is called Until Springtime, which came out February of this year. Vancouver. Hey, shout out to Vancouver. And I think I'm having a lot more fun with music. With my first album, that was like my baby. Like, I was such a control freak in the studio. My poor producer, shout out to Aaron.
Shout out, Aaron. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you. I really was a control freak, and I thought I knew everything. But he is way better at a lot of things musically than I am. And so I think one, just like learning how to just let the music lead a little bit, and keep an open mind. Like sometimes the idea you had in your mind of what things should sound like is different once you actually get in the studio. And I think I'm like leaning even more into the power of vulnerability. Like I was very scared with releasing Prime because it is a vulnerable piece. But when I saw that people actually resonated and connected with that style of music, I was like, oh, okay, like I can keep doing this, and also not allowing myself to be boxed into one genre. So Until Springtime, that song is a bit more of like a soft rock pop song, and whereas Vancouver is more of like a R&B pop song. And I don't even remember the original question.
Well, it was just talking about, you know, just kind of how your music has evolved since you've grown and all of that.
I would say just taking more risks, continuing to tap into vulnerability, and also like continuing to let the songs write themselves. The unique thing about Until Springtime and Vancouver, those are songs that I had originally written a year plus prior, but never finished. And somehow, some way,
life turned you back that way.
Life turned me back that way. God turned me back that way.
Yes.
And it's like I got a download of the rest of the lyrics because of the season that I was in. So Until Springtime, that song is about taking time in the winter to work on yourself.
That's good.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. Like, I listened to Springtime, but I didn't know that. It makes so much. I guess for me, it makes sense for me to now go back and like listen more because I have more of an understanding of what authored it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
those dark seasons.
Yes, and like I'm listening to you, and it's like life. I always say this: we're more alike than different as human beings. But I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking about my life as a creative, not just simply as a creative, but as a person. And it's like, I've started things that I left alone. I left it, but life after time brought me back to it, and that's how, like, I was at that point in time, I was then able to complete what I had left a year or 2 or 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's absolutely normal to write things, stop, forget about it, and be like, oh, but then life will bring you back to what you started, because it's going to complete itself.
Exactly, and you can't force it
Yeah.
either. Like, I think it's important to honor the season that you're in, and so that Until Springtime song, I believe I started writing it fall, winter of 2023 when I don't even remember what I was going through at the time, but I was like, I just need to like hunker down, focus on me, work on the things that are, you know, not right within me, in hopes that by the time spring arrives, I will be this fully bloomed, healed, thriving version of myself. And so when I first wrote it or started writing it fall of 2023, I only had the winter part, right? I need to focus and work on myself, and then I naturally returned to it winter of 2024, and I was like, wait a minute, there's this whole component of this song, spring, right? Because it's not just all doom and gloom in the winter, like I need to be isolated in the wilderness, but eventually I'm going to come out of that. It will be spring, the flowers will bloom, my dreams will come true. And so that's how I was able to write the second half of the song. Those are the lyrics, so that was really cool. And then with Vancouver, same thing. I actually started writing that song in 2022. I went on a trip to Vancouver. This was a solo trip at a time where, once again, I was hating my job. That is like a theme throughout my adulthood. Just was the job was not.
Corporate America get rough.
You know, I could write so many songs about that. But as I'm on this solo trip, just trying to figure out like, what am I doing with my life? I met so many incredible people from all walks of life, different countries, that were in Vancouver for a variety of reasons. I met a doctor who had quit her job, spent her whole like 20s in medical school, finally got a job as a physician, and quit.
Like, this ain't it.
Yeah, and then I met a lawyer from the UK. She had quit her job to take a year to travel. Met this engineer that was there for a conference, and he was so passionate about his research. And I just kind of had this moment where I was like, wow, your life can change in an instant. Like, as long as you are still breathing, you have breath in your lungs, like, you can make decisions that catapult you forward or take you all the way back. And it was just this cool realization that, like, God has given me a lot more agency over my life than I realized. Like, I don't have to be stuck Right.
I'm telling you. Listen, I don't want to get on top. There's so much that you're talking about. Like, listen, can I just piggyback on that? God,
Please do.
Listen, when I was reading Genesis and I was looking at like just the creator's touch in the world, and I'm like, God gave Adam so much and Eve so much agency. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The Bible talks about how we subdue and how we steward and how we multiply. It takes agency. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You get choice in this and you get creative flow. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times what we do, we box God in, but God He's created the entire universe. And when you start, I was reading Genesis 1, I'm like, God has created all of this. You know what I'm saying? And then He gives us authority to go out and expand, to multiply, subdue, to have dominion over it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And He's like, glorify me. It's like there's a lot of agency in that, man. Yeah. It really is, and I'm glad you spoke to that. I don't want to get too off topic and make it about that, but I'm just saying, like,
no, it's so true though.
For people who are listening to this, God has given you so much agency over your creative flow, over your life, in a way that you can pivot if and when you want. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just trust Him, stay on path. Like, as Vinessa is sharing, like, these dark times have purpose. You know what I'm saying? Look, I don't want to take it, but it has so much purpose.
In addition to not boxing God in, also don't box yourself in. Like, it really took my friend saying, what is like the craziest, biggest goal? It doesn't even have to be realistic. That's what allowed me to even think that, like, oh wow, this is possible. Yes. And so we have, like you said, I love that word, capacity. We have so much capacity inside of us for what we're able to accomplish and do. And so I think just that evolution of that song from, the song in 2022, I get back from the trip, I write Vancouver, and it's neat because the lyrics ended up changing along the way.
It always does.
Right. The chorus, if you listen to it, the chorus changes the second time I sing it. So I say, it's a big old world, let's go get lost in it. We're trying to find ourselves, I'm trying to find myself. That's what I wrote in 2022 because I was in this season of trying to figure out, like, what am I doing, who am I? And then when I repeat it the second time, it says, it's a big old world, you might get lost in it, trying to find yourself. I finally found myself.
Ooh,
and
it's some heat.
You know what I mean? Like, so, like,
wait, you do it like this or like?
I don't even know.
You know what? You probably got it right because you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's the women's thing. Yeah, you got it. That's how. Which one? This one or this one? Oh,
I still be snapping. I don't know. Do people snap anymore?
Wow, that's old school. Yeah, you can do that. It's all the same. Wow, that's good, B. That's good. Man, okay. All right. So I feel like we talked about this, but so share a little bit about how hope, and even your faith has like helped you in this journey.
Oh man. So I'm an optimist by nature, but even optimists, we get weary sometimes, right? And I talked about a little bit with Prime. It explores those themes of singleness, the loneliness, the longing. I've been single pretty much my entire 20s. And I think one thing that has stuck with me, which is one of the song lyrics in Prime, is it all works out. And then at the end, I go back and I say, it's already worked out. And in those seasons where you're waiting for years and years and years, and you're like, God, I have prayed the same prayer since like 2019. What's going on? I just have to remind myself, it's already worked out. I don't have to stress about it. I don't have to fret because it's already worked out. And one of my favorite Bible verses since middle school is Philippians 4:6-7, which says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything with prayer and petition, present your requests to God, and the peace of God which transcends all understanding will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. That has really been my anchor and source of hope that, like, I don't have to be anxious. I don't have to worry. Because once I've prayed about it and released it to God, like, His peace will surround me, it will cover me. And I think you can rest in that. And I think the fact that even when things don't look like how you thought it would, like sometimes things not working out is things working out.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
And I have so many examples of that in my life. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I can see why that didn't work out. Like, it needed to not work out because there would be no art if not for that. There would be no growth. And so that's what's kept me anchored, I think.
Listen, you dropping so many gems, you know what I'm saying? Are you hearing yourself? Like, you know what I'm saying? I think sometimes when we're talking and we're talking things out, we're even hearing just the goodness of God, the goodness of life. Like, you're talking about things actually working, like when things don't work out, that's actually things working out. Like, that's a whole bar. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I think of a sermon on that.
Right. And then even talking about anxiety, like anxiety is a real thing, but you like take everything to God in prayer. Like that's how we unload. You know what I mean? And then you talk about the peace part. It's so powerful. You're sharing a lot.
Yeah. One of my I've talked a lot about how I did not like some of my jobs throughout. But I remember when I was job searching, this was, I want to say in 2021, fall of 2021, 6-month long job search. And this company I really, really wanted to work for, I made it to the final round. I didn't get the role. They took like 3 weeks to tell me I didn't get it. And then a week later, they called back and they say, actually, something fell through with the other candidate and we want to offer you this role. So I get all excited and I'm like, yes, it's finally happening. And then they ghosted me.
What?
Right. It was just such an emotional roller coaster. And when I tell you, I was so upset and like angry with God, like, cause I didn't tell my company that I was going to quit, but I had told all my friends, like I was making plans for my 2 weeks. The company ghosted me. And for months, I'm like, that is so, and this is like a well-known Fortune 500 company, couldn't get in contact with anyone. And I had went through like so many rounds of interviews. And
people don't understand, that's a lot. Like, interviewing is
it is so taxing.
So weighty.
And then, while that's happening, I ended up interviewing with another company, make it to the final round, ended up not getting an offer, and they were like, but you were so close, you were neck and neck with this other candidate. Long story short, 6 months later, I get a new job. But it still bothered me that company ghosted me and that I didn't get the other offer. They ended up having layoffs, like basically a month after I had started my new job. And the hiring manager that I had interviewed with, she is now reaching out to me on LinkedIn, asking if I can refer her for a job at my new company.
Your new company.
And I was, at the time, like, while all that was going on, I was like, God, I don't understand. Like, why can't I get this job? But then to turn around, I'm in a new job. My job is secure. And now they're reaching out to me to see if I can help them get a job. And I was like, I see now, God. Like, if I would have
not working out.
Right, it didn't work
out.
I would have been unemployed. I would have gotten laid off. And now I'm in a position to then help them, even though they ghosted me.
Absolutely. That takes a lot of grace.
Yeah, so things not working out, sometimes it really isn't working out.
Yeah, it when it's not working out, it ends up working out, and that's a great story too. I didn't know that because we sometimes talk about work and stuff like that.
Yeah, it all works out.
Well, let me ask you this before we kind of close out. We good on time? Cool. When people hear your music, because as a creative, there's certain things we want people to get from it. We already know how we want people to feel. We know how we want this to speak to them and what we want them to do with it. But what I've learned a lot of times, again, this agency, God deals with people in different ways at different times, where my intentions of what I'm saying and doing, even though it's not unaligned from what they get from it, but it's like, oh, I didn't even expect you to get that or to feel that. Even though it's good, I didn't expect you to get that or feel that. It's still like shocking. It's like, how did you take that away? Like, so when you do as you created music, what do you want? So it's a 2-part question. What do you want people to feel and hear in the message, but then also share some things people have taken away from you? Like, man, I wrote it, but I didn't think that would come out of it.
I want people to feel like they're not alone in what they feel, whether that is loneliness, longing, hope. I think I write about topics that can be hard to have a conversation about out loud. It's definitely the kind of topics you put in your journal and hope no one reads it. But we need more of that. We need more vulnerability in music, more sensitivity, more depth, and feel like they're not alone, but just to feel in general. I think a lot of music, commercial music, has lost feeling. It's lost meaning, and I want people to
engineered.
Yeah, it's so engineered. It's so overproduced. I'm very big on using real instruments in my production. For that matter, I want it to be real, and I want people to feel. And then as far as like, I guess, unexpected reactions from it, you never know what's going to move people to tears. Yeah. And I think that's always like a surreal feeling when people can identify with something in a song and be like, wait, like that speaks directly to me. Like I remember the first time I played an early demo of Until Springtime in my car for my friend, and she was like, Vinessa, I feel like that song was written for me. And I was like, really? Like, I thought it was just me that was going through this season of like pruning and planting so that I could bloom in the spring. And she's like, no, like I am going through that as well. And I think that is really the calling of an artist. Like you're not just doing it for you, right? In the moment it feels like, okay, this is just some cathartic release for me, but there are listeners on the other side that need to hear what it is that you've created. And once you realize that, it just becomes something that you have to do, right? It becomes harder to keep it to yourself than to let it out. And I know for me, like as I was making Prime and going through that process, it's like I couldn't help but share. I would be in a public bathroom stall singing my songs at the top of my lungs. And people would be like, oh, like, that's a nice song. What are you singing? I'm like, oh, it's my song. It's my song. Like, it's not released yet. Like, I'm recording it, but like, I didn't even realize I was singing out loud because it just was spilling out of me. And so I just encourage people to listen to the music, connect with it.
We're gonna make sure we put it in the description and make sure people lock in with it. But they need to feel it. I also want you to talk a little bit about, like what gave you the courage to pivot and do this. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still working. It takes money, y'all, to be creative. Like, you could be creative all you want, but to put stuff out, it takes money. You know what I'm saying? Studio time costs money. We did the release at the wine spot. First of all, those people were cool. The hosts, they were cool, and that's what I met. That's when I met your dad.
And my mom.
And your brothers.
My whole family.
The whole crew was there. But that stuff costs money, so it takes a lot of courage, you know what I'm saying, to do all that. So kind of talk about pivoting from like other passions you have, because I know you're into fitness and you're creative in general, but what gave you the courage that you can pivot and do this? Yeah,
I think one, in that season, it really felt like the calling on my life in that moment. So honoring, like, okay, like I know I'm into running and all these other things, but like I really felt like God was telling me this is what you need to be doing right now, right? And like when Elena first said that, I was like, I feel like this is coming from God directly through her. And it just, I don't know, when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in a season, there's a certain ease that comes with it, even though it's hard, but like it just felt natural. Like I never once complained about sitting for an hour and 15 minutes in traffic to go to Fort Worth or giving up my weeknights to be in the studio. Like, that part just felt so natural. And thankfully my producer he allowed me to pay him as we went along. It cost several $1,000s. And not once did he ever like trip about the money he really was so flexible and willing to work with me. So very, very grateful.
Is that
Aaron? Aaron.
Yeah. Shout out, Aaron. We appreciate your grace, man.
Yeah, he's so chill. And then I think every paycheck I was just setting money aside for that studio time and recording, even just gas. Oh,
exactly. It's a lot of
sides. I spent so much money in gas.
Yeah, because Fort Worth ain't Dallas, y'all. Like, I know when people hear Dallas, they think like everything is that. Like, listen, Fort Worth ain't Dallas. It's a lot.
It's not.
It's far.
Yeah, and even just like things you wouldn't even expect, like getting my makeup done in an outfit and a photo shoot for the cover art. And then I was like, I gotta have an album release party. Like, this is like the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. So, and I really wanted to fund that as well. So I was intentionally setting aside money every paycheck. and stewarding over that well to make sure that I had enough to last the duration of the project. And yeah, I think when you're doing the thing you're supposed to be doing, no matter how hard it is, there's a certain ease and grace that comes with it that allows you to just keep going until it's finished. And I say this as somebody who doesn't always finish everything I start, but once I was locked in from the very first session I had with Aaron, because I had never met him before until I started working on this, I was like, we're gonna have fun. This is gonna be good.
It's crazy because everything you're saying I resonate with, because I wrote a book, and just to kind of talk about like you do get this grace when you're doing things. So I really understand what you're saying.
The flow state.
Yes, it's a real thing, and that's why I want you to share with people. Like, if there's something that you have going on, sorry about that. I thought I turned it off. Sorry about that. If there's something you have going on that you want to do, like kind of like I want you to talk to that, but it's like to encourage them to get into it, because we're not superhumans. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's really a grace from God, and that we also receive from people that you receive from Aaron, and then the guy you reached out to who had released an album. Like, all that's grace, lining people up with your journey. I remember my Aaron and my book writing experience was finding editors, finding people to connect with, and just kind of speak to the people about that, like encouraging them on that.
It's so important to surround yourself with people who can speak life into you, who believe in you, and are able to be a resource and a source of encouragement to you. And I would also say, like, taking the first step, right? Like, at the beginning, creating an album, it seems so daunting because it's like, okay, well, like, how do you do that? Who do I contact, right? But my first step was really just calling. I was like, well, let me think of who do I know that has released an album, right? And my friend Lottie, shout out to Lottie, he played the guitar and drums on some songs.
He was at the event.
He wasn't at the event, but I did a show with him in October.
Okay.
That was Aaron that played the guitar.
Okay.
But Lottie and I, we met on Instagram years ago just because he's a local musician in Dallas, and I really liked his work. And a friendship formed from there in like 2018. But yeah, the first step was really I just called somebody and said, hey, Lottie, I think I want to do this. What is my first step, right? So even if you don't know what your first step is, being able to reach out to people who have done what it is you're trying to do and ask them, well, what was the first thing you did? And he said, create some demos. And then from there, it's like, okay, well, what's the next step? Send them to a producer. Then you get, and so I think just like having people who can pour into you, who can support you, it's just so crucial. I mean, every step of the way, my best friend was helping me with like the creative vision for the cover art. And I had my friend Elena, the one who first told me to create an album. She listened to all those songs dozens of times to make sure that they sounded good. And so just the power of community and people that can speak life into you, and then knowing, hey, I only have to take the first step.
One step at a time.
Right. And from there, the remaining steps will reveal themselves.
Yeah, and there'll be grace for each one. There'll be grace for each one. Listen, you have such a beautiful story, V. Like, no, for real. Like, I'm not saying this to fluffy, because we talk, but we don't talk all the time. You know what I'm saying? But whenever we do talk, we do end up like yapping for a little bit. Like, I'll come bring some merch and we just end up yapping a little bit longer. Yeah. So I just want to say this, like, believe in your journey. It's powerful. Like, I'm not just fluffing you. I'm receiving like inspiration just hearing the story. You know what I'm saying? And maybe, this hopeful conversation was a seed for you to see now, okay, I actually need to start sharing my story, the journey behind it. It's so powerful. I'm not giving you something else to do. I'm not trying to play Elena. I'm not trying to play Elena. I'm not. I just want to, make sure you understand the power in this journey. It's powerful.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to know that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any last words you want to kind of share with the people?
Whatever it is you've been called to do, a lot of us know it. It's deep inside of us. Sometimes we push it to the back of our subconscious. Do it. Just do it. Submit it to the Lord first. And I'm telling you, once you take that first step, you'd be surprised how things just start lining up for you to make it that much easier. And when you're doing what you're supposed to do, because it just lights up every part of you. And it will be scary at times. It may be uncomfortable. It may require you to be bold and stretch way outside of your comfort zone. But there is nothing like it, and it's I don't know. It's just a surreal feeling when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. It just there's a feeling of contentment, and peace and joy that comes with that. And I hope that for everyone, right? I last thing I'll say is I have this phrase, which I it's kind of morbid, but it's to die empty, meaning at the end of my life, I want to be able to say, God, everything that you put inside of me, I've emptied it out, right? Like there is no more talent left. I have used it to the fullest. My resources, my time, my treasure. And I say that because my late grandpa, who I mentioned at the beginning, Frank Glassford, I truly believe he embodied what it means to die empty, like to die having poured out fully of himself. He was a musician, he was a pastor. He had gotten his doctorate of ministry in his 60s, and then went back to teach at the seminary that he graduated from. And then he was also I call it a craftsman. He was a carpenter. He made cabinets, furniture. There's a lot of people in South Florida who have furniture in their homes and their businesses that was built by him. Wow. Right? And so it wasn't enough and of course, he was a father and an amazing grandfather. But it wasn't enough for him to just dabble in his talents. Whatever he was talented in, knowledgeable in, he pursued it to the fullest extent, right? So for me, it's not enough to just like, oh, I make a song here and there. It's like, okay, I can make an album. I can perform on stage, right? And I remember when he was sick with cancer and he wasn't getting better. He wasn't responding to the treatments. My grandma, he was frustrated by that. And my grandma had asked him, if God gave you more years on this earth, what more would you do that you haven't already done? And he couldn't answer that question. And I think that just was such a powerful lesson to me. Like I want to be able to be like, man, even if I have more time, I've done everything I was supposed to do. And unfortunately, that's when he started to decline in health. But like, what a great way to go out feeling like, even if I had more time, I've actually done everything. I've done everything. And so I hope that for everyone that you will be able to, that we all would be able to live our life in such a way that at the end of it, there's nothing left to give because we've done it all.
Yeah, it reminds me, you said it well, it just reminds me of a verse about Paul is saying, I ran my race, I finished my course. Now there's a crown that awaits me. Yeah. He died empty, he had done everything. So I don't want to say much more to that. Well worded. I really appreciate the interview. For real, this is beautiful. Yeah. This was amazing, B.
This was so great.
The journey behind the music, y'all. And you know how we always say, no matter what, there's hope. Let people know there's hope, B.
There's hope.
We'll catch y'all in the next one.